If you knew what I knew, you could get 10 million subscribers within 6 months.
Your first video is not going to get views.
Subscribers don't matter. Views don't matter. I mean, they do.
So stop sitting there and thinking for months and months on end and just get to work and start uploading.
Everything you want as a creator comes from making the best videos possible and thumbnails.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about this exact video. All of these statements he made were great, and everybody starts at the beginning, which he did. But I wanted to kind of gauge it more towards smaller creators, smaller channels, and to kind of give it a perspective from a realistic standpoint. Person who has 100 subscribers, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's how do you make the most of it in your scenario? How do you utilize it? How do you make it worth your time as a small creator? How do you get out there? So let's keep watching the video, and we're going to take a break every now and then, and I'll let you know what I think.
MrBeast shares his best YouTube advice, all the way from title and thumbnail secrets to growing a channel on YouTube.
It's much easier to get 5 million views on one video than 50,000 views on 100 videos.
He also reveals how he's able to hook in viewers in his videos and what he would do if he started over from scratch.
What advice would you give yourself when you were starting out?
Your videos suck. You think your videos are good, but they suck. You know?
Okay, so real quick on this, he says your videos suck. You think they're good, but they suck. So the only way to get better at making videos, which I'm literally in the process of doing right now, is to make more videos. That way you can learn what works, what doesn't work. Like, what does your target audience want to see? Because everybody's different. Everybody has their own brand, has their own things they like to talk about, and that's what makes you unique. People will follow you because you are unique. Let's keep watching.
They just do. And the sooner you learn how to make great videos that people actually want to watch, the sooner you'll get views. I think is the biggest takeaway. Because like when I was 14, I thought my videos were the best in the world. They weren't. They're terrible. Many people are making way better videos than me, but I didn't think that. And I think, you know, to be successful, you kind of have to have a little bit of that ego where you're like, you know, my content's great. You got to believe in it. But also, like, if you have sub 1,000 subscribers, like, there's a good probability your videos just suck. They just do. And you need to make hundreds of videos or 100 videos. I don't know. It depends on the difficulty of your videos. Improve something every time and just like get to the point where they don't. When you make good content, you'll blow up. It's not the algorithm. It's not anything. It's just like me and most people who are in my position, you just make terrible videos. And that's okay, because you got to make a bunch of videos and improve over time to be great. Like, you don't just pick up a baseball and become an MLB level athlete within a year. You know, it takes many years, and YouTube's kind of the same way.
A lot of people get analysis paralysis and they'll just sit there and they'll plan their first video for 3 months. And yeah, I'm any of you listening, if you, especially if you have 0 videos on your channel, your first video is not going to get views, period. It's not. Your first 10 are not going to get views. I can very confidently say that. So stop sitting there and thinking for months and months on end and just get to work and start uploading. Like, all you.
And this is exactly what we tell all of our clients who we work with. It's like, you have to think very long term. Like, you cannot think short term, or you're going to get discouraged and you're going to feel like you're wasting your money. Okay, you're wasting your money, your time. But the truth is, if you think long term, and if you actually reach who you're wanting to reach, it could come back to you, and like, your ROI could be through the roof. Like, you could see 10x, 20x, even 100x. Because there's 5 billion people on YouTube. Got to remember that. Got to remember that.
What you need to do, this applies to people who have not uploaded videos but have dreams of being a YouTuber, is make 100 videos and improve something every time. Do that. And then on your 101st video, we'll start talking. Like, maybe you can get some views. But, you know, your first 100 are going to suck. There are very freak cases like Liza Koshy or Emma Chamberlain who have really good personalities, and it doesn't take them as many videos. And it's just like people who are 7'5" and making the NBA. Like, yes, there are free cases you can find, but for the average person like us, you know, who don't have these exceptional personalities and, you know, backgrounds in filmmaking, just make 100 videos, improve something each time, and then talk to me on your 101st video.
How do you improve something each time?
The second one, just, I don't know, put more effort into the script. The third one, try to learn a new editing trick. The fourth one, try to figure out a way that you can have better inflections in your voice. The fifth one, try to, study a new thumbnail tip and implement it. The sixth one, try to figure out a new title. There's infinite ways. That's the beauty of content creation online. There's literally infinite ways, from the coloring to the frame rate to the editing to the filming to the production to the jokes to the pacing, to every little thing can be improved, and they can never not be improved. There's literally no such thing as a perfect video.
What YouTube wants is they want people to click on a video and they want to watch it. Like, at its core, that's what it is. Now, you can like draw little lines and go as deep as you want into how to get people to click and how to get people to watch. I mean, essentially, by studying the algorithm, you'll learn that you're more studying human psychology, right? What do humans want to watch? Anytime you say the word algorithm, just replace it with audience, and it works perfectly. Like, the algorithm didn't like that video. No, the audience didn't like that video. Literally, that's it. If people are clicking and watching, then it gets promoted more. And that's literally all the algorithm does, is reflect what the people want to a T. And if you deny that, you just make terrible videos and are trying to find a scapegoat.
What makes for a good title? Short?
Not just short. It's also, if someone reads it, are they like, do they have to watch it? Is it just so intrinsically interesting that it's just gonna quit them if they don't click on it? You know what I mean? Ideally, it's a title also that, because the titles don't live in a vacuum, right? So it has to lead into the content. So ideally, the title represents content that you would want to watch for 20 minutes. So if it's a 20-minute video and the
Okay, so this is important, and I want to kind of comment here. The titles that you use, they need to be like a news article. They need to like invoke interest. So yeah, remember that whenever you're making your titles, and then your thumbnails need to be a response to that title. And if you make it negative, a lot of people are more attracted to negative things than they are positive all the time. So it sparks their curiosity, and if the thumbnail is good, they'll click it. So like, think about those two things majority of the time, or else the whole point of this is like, especially as a small creator, as a small channel, you won't, like, even if you make the best movie in the world, the best video in the world, nobody's going to watch it if these two things aren't good. And once you have those two things figured out, and then you add all the right tags, all the right SEO stuff in your description, like, this is when it becomes lethal. And this is whenever you can really start seeing the results snowballing on top of each other.
the title is I stepped on a bug, the click-through rate is going to be much lower than if it was like a 5-second video. Like, even nuances of the length of the video based against the title will affect whether people want to click it, because sometimes they just don't add up. I mean, it's that, yes, ideally you want it below 50 characters, because above 50 characters on certain devices, you run the chance of it going ... So like, I took a light pole and I saw how many dollar bills I could stack on top, and they would just go ... because it's too long and it can't finish it. And that's the worst thing, because then people don't even know what they're clicking on. And so it's going to do even worse. Short, simple, ideally, and just so freaking interesting, they have to click. And it is a good segue into the content, and it represents the length of the content. The more extreme the opinion, typically the higher the click-through rate. If you can like pay it off in the content, then it just supercharges it. So like,
oh, so you have a kind of estimate of the extreme.
Like this water, right? You're like, Fiji water sucks.
Yeah,
that would do fine. But if you said Fiji water is the worst water I've ever drank in my life,
yeah,
way more extreme opinion would do way better.
But you have to deliver.
Yeah, but then you have to deliver, because the more extreme you are, the more extreme you have to be in the video.
I heard you guys talking about autoplay on YouTube,
Yes.
and I've never considered it. I've always thought about the thumbnail, but now on YouTube, videos automatically play.
Of course. So before you film a video, what is the thumbnail? What is the video? And then what's the first 5 seconds? And then what's the first 30 seconds? You know, by the first 5 seconds is like goes with the thumbnail.
Because it's possible that people open YouTube and they don't see it. They don't even see
Especially
the
for
thumbnail.
us, because like for so many people I've watched hundreds of our videos, when I upload, I am first on your homepage. So like you just literally don't even see the thumbnail because it autoplays so quickly. So like the thumbnail is irrelevant. I have to like visually convince you to click on the video.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, that's why we go so hardcore.
Dude, that's so crazy. So do you consider also captions in those first 5 seconds? Because
Of
people
course,
aren't
all
watching
of it.
with
Yeah,
audio.
everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Yes, 100%.
Wow. So those first 5 seconds, that hook is now even more important than it ever used to be.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, before it was important because you had to convince people to watch.
Yeah.
Now you have to convince people to click and watch at the same time.
Whoa.
With the first 5
So
seconds.
that's driving CTR now too. Yeah,
It
interesting.
is 100%.
Wow.
I roast a lot of people who like have boring first 5 seconds. It's brutal. Your title and thumbnail set expectations, and at the very beginning of the video, to minimize drop off, you want to assure them that those expectations are being met. If you click on a video where of his where it's like Tether is a scam, and then at the very beginning he starts talking about literally anything else, then you are like, oh, This is bull. This isn't what I clicked on. But if at the very start of the video you go, Tether is a scam, and I'm going to teach you why, then it's like, okay, you match the expectations. So at the very beginning, match the expectations, and then you want to exceed them. So you want to assure people that what they clicked on is what they're getting, and then blow their mind and be like, but you're also getting even more. That's how you lower drop off, which a lot of people, sometimes it takes them like 20 seconds to really meet the expectations. And so you lose, like, that's where you're going to lose everyone. Everyone's videos start like this, and then it levels off. So you want to reduce the amount of people that click off on the audience retention graph. I hope you're popping up graphs while I'm saying this, so it's easier for people to visualize. We really should drill this home, because like the number one thing is like retaining as many people as possible at the start.
So real quick, I wanted to remind you guys and say thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video. It helps us out as a fellow small creators, a fellow small channel. You like the video, subscribe to the video, and it truly helps us out. If you're not taking notes, make sure to take notes, because MrBeast obviously knows what he's doing. The amount of views he's gotten, the amount of traction in becoming the world's most watched YouTuber, he has a formula. And so make sure to keep taking notes. And if you want to see more of this content, make sure to subscribe. Thanks.
Like envision a chart where you lose 35% of your viewers in the first 30 seconds, and then envision one where you only lose 20%. That's 15% more people that are watching, you know, throughout the video than not. And it's not like you made the whole video like a bunch better. You just had a more strategic intro that hooked them. I'm struggling to put this into words and like to really impose how important that is, but like that 15% difference in viewership really does make the difference between hypothetically like 2 million views on a video and like 10 in my head. The thing people undervalue the most is literally the first 10 seconds of the video. Like, yeah, I think I can quote it. I tied up an FBI agent and I have $100,000 in this bag. Here's a knife. Good luck. And I just run away. Yeah. Like, it gives you everything you need. Yeah. No wasted words, short, concise, and then tension. You basically.
Okay, yes, this is a good point. Make sure the stuff that you're making gets straight and to the point. Nobody cares about the filler stuff, especially small channels. Like, they don't even know who you are. So if you put yourself in the same scenario, in the same screen, in the same environment as these people who they know, they'll feel more included. They'll feel like you have some sort of connection to them.
Basically want to remove every dull moment. You probably want to find the 10 most critical people you know, make them watch the video and just roast it. You know, certain things like if I just talk to a camera for 10 seconds without a cut, like a lot of people will just like get bored or they'll lose interest. So like having a B cam and a C cam, and just, you can just talk for 10 seconds, but 3 seconds in cutting to a B cam and then a C cam, like now it's more interesting, even though it's essentially the same thing and not that crazy. But you want to have good pacing, typically having a payoff at the end keeps them, right? Last sleeve circle wins 10 grand. If there is a low moment halfway through, you're going to watch to the end because you want to see who wins the 10 grand. So having a good payoff at the end.
How do you keep viewers watching and, you know, happy with the video?
Thirsty hair? Meet Aussie. It's giving moisture with a capital M, made for every type and texture. See,
I would say just give them why they clicked, tell them why they should watch, and then just stick on topic. Like that right there isn't even super complex, but that would already put you in the upper echelon of YouTube. It's hard for a lot of people. People, for whatever reason, like they just drag it out. A lot of vlog channels do it. It's like eating $100 ice cream, and they'll be like, I'm going to eat $100 ice cream. But first, and then it's like earlier in the day, and it's just stuff that has nothing to do with what you clicked on. It's like them birthday shopping for their mom. And it's like, that's not why I came here.
What's interesting is the longer people watch something, the more likely they are to keep watching. So you don't have to try as hard in the hypothetically back half of a video as you do in the front. Like even right now, we're so deep into this where a lot of people listening are probably just going to keep listening relatively close to the end, unless we just have a really boring part of this conversation, because they're just in it. They're immersed. And so a big, like, to really boil it down to a simple level, you just want to get people where they're immersed in the content and then just kind of hold them there.
The thing is, it's all knowledge. It really is. And like every time I say this, people debate it to the end of time on Twitter, but I don't care. Like I could start a new channel tomorrow with not using my face or my voice, like without ever promoting it, and in 6 months have 20 million subscribers. I just could. Yeah. It's purely knowledge. Like if you knew what I knew, you could get 10 million views a video, and you could get 10 million subscribers no matter where you are right now within 6 months. It really is just knowledge. And I can already tell you 90% of the people watching, they don't agree with that. They don't. And everyone has excuses, and they're always like, nah, YouTube just doesn't work like that, Jimmy. You don't understand. But I mentor a lot of people. I see it even to this day. I still see it all the time.
It is possible. It is simply knowledge. And the second you accept that it is knowledge and you start your, for me, 10,000 day journey of learning, for you, whatever it is, if you want to be less hardcore. But
So this is important here. I wanted to remind you guys, we have a Howdy Media Insiders group where we talk about this stuff all the time. We're going live doing Q&As almost every single day at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. So click the link in the description if you want to be a part of that. It's completely free. It's just a Facebook group. But yeah, this is what we talk about. If you're a small business owner, if you're a small creator, and you're wanting a community to help grow and to help bounce ideas off of, this is exactly what it's for. So if you're wanting to be a part of this community, it's going to be in the description below. And I'll use my buddy Levi for an example. He started last November with basically 0 subscribers on YouTube, and he's grown his YouTube channel to almost 100,000 subscribers in less than 1 year. And it's literally using the strategies we're using right now at the moment. So if you want to be a part of this, click the link in the description and we'll see you there.
and like actually figuring out, you know, what makes a good video, what does my audience want, how can I elevate, and then you take that knowledge and you just assume that I will never understand what the perfect video is, and every single day I just need to be devoted to learning as much as possible and improving as much as possible, and I got to improve every video as much as I can. Then there you go. There are tons of viral ideas that people can do that don't require money. It does not require money to go viral. Like at one point, one of my most viewed videos was like spending 24 hours in a desert. We just grabbed a tent, some stuff, and we went to the desert. And it got like 60, 70 million views. I have so many videos where we spent hardly any money, like the no food one, or I'd have to pull up the channel and go through it, that have gotten tens of millions of views, and they would have gotten 10 plus million views even on a small channel. So people who say, oh, well, I could be MrBeast if I had money. Well, A, I didn't start off with money. I was poor. I had no money, and it took me like 7 years just to buy a camera, saving up from YouTube. And B, some of our most viewed videos, literally, like anyone can do. The best way to get views, in my opinion, I think it's better to really, really focus on quality if you're a very small YouTuber. And you can upload a video a day and like all the videos be average. And like none of those videos will really stand out. None of it's like epic enough where like the algorithm's gonna go, oh, this video is good. Like we need to spread it. I feel like a lot of small YouTubers, they just post like videos that aren't bad, but they're not great. And they just do that. And none of them ever pop off. So they never get an audience, where it might be better to like, you know, upload half or a third or even like a fifth of the videos, but make the videos you upload so freaking good that like the algorithm has to promote it, and that, you know, it has to find audiences for it, because it's such an interesting and good video. When you like set a consistent schedule and you're constantly having to upload videos that aren't as good as you'd like because you got to hit, oh, this Monday I said I'd upload every Monday, you know, like that's a dangerous trap, because then, you know, the viewers notice that the quality isn't as good and it makes them less likely to watch, and I think it hurts your longevity.
So this is a point that is kind of in the gray area as far as my perspective goes. So you want quality content going out, but at the beginning, small creators like us, we don't have access to all of the tools and like the knowledge that we need at the beginning to create what is a viral video. So we have to research. We have to kind of piggyback off of people who already have audiences, who are people off of things that are already trending. And so the numbers game comes into effect massively. So the more content you can get out there, the more stuff that you can piggyback off of, the more trends and the more things that are going viral at the moment. Like the more that you post, the more odds that you have of somebody finding you. And during this process, you can be perfecting the thumbnail, you can be perfecting the title. That way, whenever you come up with a more original idea, people are more likely to click on it. So develop it while you're doing the quantity, the numbers game. And then at a certain point, set that goal. Whenever you hit that point, you can kind of switch after you've gained some following, after you've gained some subscribers, and switch to quality videos. Maybe you go from posting every single day, every week for 20-minute videos. If you do that for a year, which is exactly what my buddy Levi's doing, and he's part of the insiders group, so make sure to join that. If you're doing this for a whole year, you can then pivot once you have an audience built, because you already have a bunch of loyal fans who know you. Pivot, say, hey, we're going to be bringing you better quality content, but it's only going to be 3 days a week. That way you can put more time into each video and bring more value per video. That's how I would do it. I know I'm not the biggest YouTuber in the world, but these are things to think about as a small channel, as a small creator.
A lot of times people, oh boy, it's like they think their videos are better than they are, honestly. And that
Tell them, Jimmy, tell them.
I mean, they do. And you have to that, and they have horrible friend groups, because you really are like the type of YouTubers you hang around. And so like a lot of times I'm just like, what you're saying is wrong. Who told you this? They're like, well, this guy. And it's like, well, they're wrong. It's not true. There's no such thing as a perfect video. Like, someone should always call you and it on your video, because it could be better. Like, that's because imagine if someone does that every video and you upload hundreds, if not 1,000 videos over the next 10 years. And every single time someone's critiquing you and you're applying what they're critiquing. Like, imagine the compound effect over that time span. It's invaluable. People think it's like, oh, well, it's all like CTR and stuff like that. But a big thing that everyone underestimates is what was your experience with your last video? If people loved the last video of yours that they watched, they're more likely to watch your next one. For the YouTubers watching this, when people watch your video, they go, okay, that was good, but like that's enough of you for the day. Like it was all right? Whereas what you want is them to go, holy crap, that was crazy. Oh my God, what's that? Holy crap, that was crazy. Oh my God. And they watch 10 videos. That's what you're going for, that data can't describe. And like, I've never heard anyone talk about that, but that is it. That's how you get these high view counts, because people watch 10 videos, not one, you know? It's okay to draw inspiration from me, but just don't do what I do to a T. It's not like $1 versus blank. I'm the first person to do it. But I just, saw that format and I was just like, how can I do that 100 times better?
Right.
How can I put 100 times more creativity into it? How can I level up the editing by 100 times? How can I spend blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And that's always my mindset. How can I, like, if I get inspired by something, how can I do that but 100 times better and make it my own? Whereas a lot of people are just like, oh, MrBeast did that, I'm just going to do it.
Yes. So don't copy everything. Like, you can utilize and use these things as a resource, but don't copy down to a T what they're doing. Like, have your own opinions. That's why people want to watch you, is because you're different and you have your own opinions. You have your own experiences. And that's one thing we tell like our social media clients and people we coach and consult. It's like, your target audience is watching you because they want to watch you and your opinion. Like, don't go copy other people, because then it's pretty like prevalent whenever you are copying somebody and they can sense that. So like, be true to yourself. Don't try to copy somebody else. Like, you can use their ideas and put it towards your scenario and create content off of that. But that's my 2 cents. And make content that's engaging, make content that you already know works, and you do this by researching. Go and research your top 5 favorite. If you're a realtor, go research your top 5 favorite Instagram pages. Like, it doesn't just apply to YouTube; it applies to all social media platforms.
Yeah, how do I make a good thumbnail? How do I get people to click my video?
You want it to be simple. You want them to be able to, like, when they're scrolling through their suggested or homepage or whatever touch point, you want them to instantly be able to understand what you're conveying. And you want them to feel some type of emotion. You know what I mean? The way I like to phrase it is, you want to make it so interesting or spike their curiosity or whatever emotion so much that, like, if they don't click it, they'll wonder, before they go to bed, like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like an example would be like, if you uploaded a video, I rode a skateboard with 1,000 other people on it, and like people are falling off the side or whatever. And I'm envisioning like a giant skateboard and people like hanging on the side of it. Maybe it's like about to go off a big ramp. If you don't click that, you're gonna like be so curious. It's gonna be on your mind, later in the day when you're daydreaming, you're gonna think like, what happened? What happened to those 1,000 people on that skateboard? That's kind of the mindset I think you should have when making thumbnails.
How often do you change a thumbnail on a video? Is that something, do you usually just stick with one, or you try different ones?
I think we get better at making thumbnails every year. So it's more, when I upload a thumbnail, I usually think it's good and I don't change it most of the time. But what happens is, like, 3 years later, I look back and I'm like, oh, that's a horrible thumbnail. And so it's usually like every 2 years we just go back and update a lot of our older thumbnails just because they're terrible. Just with like the new knowledge we have and what we've learned. And funny enough, that actually usually does help quite a bit when we update the thumbnails on old videos. They usually do see a little bit of an uptick, because they're just, if we take an old thumbnail where it's like
seeing if whatever, like 100,000 magics can stop a car, and it just looks terrible. And then with the new stuff, I know we zoom in a little bit so it's a little more visible and make things look better. Then magically it starts doing a little bit better because now people actually understand what it is, because I'm not as much of an idiot anymore. In 10 years, YouTube's going to be bigger than television ever was for culture, in America at least, in my opinion. And so I think a lot of people underestimate that, and I don't think people really understand just how, like, to be one of the top creators on the biggest social media platform, and that will also be the biggest in 10 years during that whole time, like the amount of value and how crazy that is. Like, you don't need a network, you don't need to go through people. You just are. You can do whatever you want, and you can influence people how you want. It's just wild. It's mind-blowing, and you can leverage that to build businesses, or like do things like Beast Philanthropy or whatever.
Yes, building businesses is the biggest reason and the biggest thing that we push here at Howdy Media. And so that's why we started that group, the Insiders Group. It's to allow business owners and creators who eventually will turn into business owners to have them like connect and network and throw ideas off of each other and collaborate. If somebody has a podcast and they need a specific type of guest, they can go to this group and you can just put up a post, say, hey, like, we need a podcast guest who is a small business owner of a restaurant or something. So the community is absolutely huge, and TV is getting bigger and bigger, and these people are sitting and watching YouTube like TV. Like, I know I do it. We have a smart TV, and so they'll throw up this content. But anyways, back to the video.
I think like people don't realize just how much influence the top YouTube channels have.
No one's ever going to do what I do better than me. Like, it's just not. It's not even humanly possible. Like, I reinvest every penny I make.
Yeah.
I work every hour I'm awake. I devote every atom in my brain to solving this. I hire the best people on the planet. I've been doing this for 14 years. And I think in decades, not years. So I'm going to be doing this for another 20, 30 years, not 2 or 3. So no, the next me isn't going to be me, because no one's going to do what I do better than me. It's not possible. If I thought someone was doing better than me, I'd just start sleeping less so I could work even more. Like, I'd figure it out. I don't give
The barrier to entry to be you is extremely high.
Yeah.
Right. Especially where you're
well,
at.
it's just because I'm all in. I'm crazy. Like, people shouldn't be me. I don't have a life. I don't have work-life balance. My personality, my soul, my being is making the best videos possible, entertaining my fans as best as I can. Like, that is what exists on this planet. And I don't recommend it. You know what I mean? Like, you should have work-life balance. You should not devote your entire life to this one thing. Like, go have fun. Like, I'm miserable a lot of times. I have a mental breakdown every other week because I push myself so hard. Like, I don't recommend it,
What do you think gets us to 1 million subscribers?
Well, subscribers is an arbitrary number.
Okay, so a million views of video.
No, you should ask me, what helps us make the best videos possible? That's the only question you should ask me. Subscribers don't matter. Views don't matter. I mean, they do, but all that comes. Everything you want as a creator comes from making the best videos possible, and thumbnails. But it's easier to make thumbnails. The video part's the hard part, and that's the thing that
I want to give a big shout out to Think Media for throwing this video together. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and learned something. If you're wanting to grow online, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be posting lots more videos like this, lots more tutorials, camera equipment, like what gear to use, how to set up a podcast studio. There's also a video that we put out of our personal podcast studio, which is where we film our own podcasts, our clients' podcasts. Here in the studio, we'll edit it, distribute it, put it on YouTube and Spotify and all of that. But there's a tour that you can look at, and it's right up here in the corner. Again, thanks for watching today's video, and I will see you on the next one.